Let's go back once again to the stadium. We've heard from one manager. Alison Bender is now standing by with Brendan Rodgers.
Congratulations,
Thanks,
Brendan.
Alison.
You
Thank
are
you.
going to Wembley. How does that feel?
Yeah, it feels very good. We obviously were 3 games from history before this game, and now we're down to 2. So it will be a tough game, but we had to earn it tonight. I thought we were very complete in our performance, and overall delighted.
It was a very entertaining performance, a good team performance as well. But once again, Kelechi Iheanacho, he's been so good for you.
Yeah. I think to beat a team like Manchester United the way we did, you need everyone to be contributing. And tonight, both defensively and offensively, the players were exceptional. So but Kels is a real high level of confidence at the moment. He's playing so well. His link up, his touch. He looks a threat, and he's been very, very good.
I've got to ask you how it was at half-time. Obviously, it was 1-1, but you also found out who you'd be facing in the draw. Is that something you looked at half-time?
No, not at all. It doesn't really matter. It was more after the game we found out. So I thought we'd played well in the first half. We were disappointed in the goal we conceded because we didn't give away too many opportunities. We just weren't aggressive enough in the first half in some moments on the side of the pitch, and that's where they scored the goal. But second half we got into contention in the areas that we wanted to, and then still played our football.
So looking ahead to that semi-final against Southampton, I suppose you haven't had a chance to think about that too much yet. How are you feeling about that game?
Yeah, I think if you reach the semi-final of any cup competition, then it's going to be difficult. So Southampton are a good side, they've got good players, and again, both teams will arrive there and want to get to the final.
I'm sure you're bored of speaking about this. Jamie Vardy obviously had an opportunity to put it away, and he has been excellent with his contributions as well. But what does he need just to get that goal scoring form back?
It doesn't matter. He's working so hard for the team, Alison. He's always occupying defenders, which creates space for others. Probably just needs a little bit of luck. His movement tonight was very good. His link-up play was good. His pressing was good. And sometimes you can go on a run like that, but I'm not overly bothered. The team's scoring goals, playing well, and he's contributing at a really high level.
And I've just got to ask you, I know you've heard about this a lot, but 4 times in the final and never having won it before, how much would it mean to this football club? I know the fans can't be here, but to go and lift that trophy.
Well, we'll let you know afterwards. We've got to get there first, so got a number of weeks to go yet, but we'll look forward to that, and we'll fight and do everything we can to get to the final.
One game at a time. Thank you very much.
Cheers, thank you.
Brendan.
Thanks. Thank you.
Many thanks, Alison Bender, and of course, Brendan Rodgers. Can we just talk about the recruitment of Leicester, Emile? Because I've been thinking about this all day. I can't name many clubs who have recruited as well as Leicester. Now, of course, we all know the story about N'Golo Kante and Riyad Mahrez. They've moved on from the club. But even in more recent memory, Kelechi Iheanacho, he's now in a rich vein of form. You look at Castagna, who's come in and can play left or right. Fofana has been so impressive, and let's not forget, he's only 20 years old. Soyuncu is another one. They lost Maguire, they got in Soyuncu. And I'm going to make a bold prediction here and say that Fofana will go for at least 50 million in a few years, because that's what Leicester seem to do now. They recruit smartly, they train them well, and then they make a big profit and reinvest the funds back into the side. Is that a fair assessment from me?
I think you've got to take your hat off to the Leicester City scouting team and the analysts, etc., because they'll be looking at all the data, all the stats, everything on players that they're going to be looking at, and whether they actually fit in the ethos of the club and in the style and the philosophy of Brendan Rodgers and Leicester City. They've got it spot on up until now with the players that they've brought in. Not just coming in and fitting in, they're coming in and making a difference. When you're talking about Fofana, you're talking about a player that had a lot of clubs looking at him. So picking the right time to actually go and putting in the right bid to actually get it accepted. We're going back as far as Kante and players like Ndidi.
Maddison.
They've been all of them. They've been fantastic. So you've got to take your hat off to them, and hopefully they can get more and more. You're looking at young lads coming through now as well with your likes of your Harvey Barnes. So you've got to take your hat off to the system of bringing kids through. Harvey Barnes has been fantastic up until his injury. They were talking about him being in the England squad. like you're showing there, Maddison now, another young lad who's come in, who's got so much confidence in his ability that he's showing every week that he plays. And they're missing him when he's not there, to be honest with you. Obviously, he wasn't there today, and it was a great result, but they do miss something when he's not there because he's a phenomenal player.
When you look at how they've operated in terms of transfers and who they've brought in, Mark, of course, they've spent a fair amount of cash on some of these players, but they'll probably be able to sell them off for double or triple what they bought them for. Are they the best example of how to operate a football club in terms of playing personnel out of all the Premier League sides?
Well, I think Leicester are in a unique position because I mentioned it earlier in the broadcast, is that they're a good option and people see Leicester as the club to go to. If you can't go to the two Manchester clubs or Liverpool, Arsenal, because of the London thing that a lot of foreign players want to be based in London. If you can't get a position in those clubs or your position's filled and you're a top player and you just can't get to those clubs, then going to Leicester is a real option for all these players because they know they can be playing the regular at the top end of the Premier League. And irrespective, they'll be talking about, well, you go to Leicester, you play well, then there's an opportunity to get to one of the top clubs in the Premier League at a later date. While you're trying to retain that, you still at Leicester, who are an exceptional team, and you'll enjoy your time doing it. So it's a win-win situation for a player that you can go and enjoy your time at Leicester City. If you do really well, then the big clubs may well come knocking. But even if they don't, you're still going to be at an exceptional Premier League club and enjoy your time there. So players know that. Their agents know that. So if they can't get their player to one of the so-called big clubs in the Premier League, then the next best and the next call that they make is to Leicester City, I'm sure.
And when it comes to the philosophy of playing for a manager, I mean, Emile, you're at the embryotic stages of your managerial journey. Is it hard to get players to play the way you want them to play, to get them to the same line of thinking?
No, it isn't, to be honest with you. You work on things in training. You inevitably get them playing the way that you want them to play by having them enjoy the part of training that they're doing. I loved training. I loved getting out there. I loved being with the lads. I loved tackling. I loved heading. I loved doing all that sort of stuff. So being out there and learning all the time was great for me. Some don't like that side of it, but there's other ways of getting them to understand why you're doing this, why we need you to make this run here, why are you pressing high up, why is everyone backing you up, why do I need the next line to be backing up as well? So there's so many different ways of doing it, and it should always be fun on the training field. And I always say, a lot of the stuff that you're seeing on the pitch now, we've done hours and hours and hours of that on the training field. On the pitch, it should be easy. Everyone should be making that without even thinking half of the time.